All night. Say it. All night.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. Usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option, due to unusual rain and thunder, baby I wonder, would you just put your sweats on me? Yeah. I got the plug, I made the call for me. I'm talking late night for ya. Let me lay a great time on ya. Don't hesitate, no, don't you? Just say you will. Come through and chill. Just say you will.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Saying, that bitch, put your hands up high. Hands up high. Hands up high. Tell them turn the lights down right now. Put me in the mood. I'm talking about dark perfume. Go.
I recognize your fragrance. Hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit. And I know your taste is a little bit high maintenance. Everybody else basic. You live life on an everyday basis with poetic justice. If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? I mean, I write poems in these songs dedicated to you when you're in the mood for empathy. There's blood in my pen. Better yet, with your friends and them. I really wanna know you all. I really wanna show you off. Fuck that, pour up plenty of champagne. Cold nights when you curse this name. You called up your girlfriends and y'all curled in that little bitty range. I heard that she wanna go and party. Nigga, don't approach her with that Atari. Nigga, that ain't good, game home is sorry. They say conversation rule a nation. I can tell, but I could never right my wrongs unless I write it down for real. P.S. You can get it. Don't you what you want. Oh, I the justice. Put it in the song. Alright.
Now, let me ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year? When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing group come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes because there's only one thing that counts. Just win. Just win. Commitment to excellence. There's a commitment to excellence. The greatest players could get the greatest coaches. The great games we've played in, the flame that would burn brightest here is the will to win. Is the will to win. Is the will to win. Your commitment to excellence and your will to win will endure forever. You imagine.
Yo, welcome to the 241. 241. Yes, 241 Nation podcast, which is also, I would say, the new show for me and my boy Raider Twuan. You feel me? And we back here again. Like I said, the 241 Nation podcast. All things Raiders on this podcast, of course. How are you doing, Raider Twuan?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited that we are You know what I'm saying? We getting it in, you know what I'm saying, with the two for
Yeah.
one Raider podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'll break down what that means. Some people may be wondering,
Yeah.
what is two
Facts.
for one? You know what I'm saying? How does that apply to this podcast? We'll talk about it a little bit later. But hey, how are you doing today, man?
Hey, I could, I'm grateful for being here on another day, man. Every day is a blessing, and it's good to have a show with you, man. Finally, the name Two for One Nation podcast, and like I said, I'm gonna let you explain everything to do with that for the people. But let's first give a salute to who's here so far right now.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to Robert Penna in the building. What's good, Robert Penna? Good to see you. All eyes on G in the building, and again, y'all, we are simulcasting on both channels, so it's the SC Experience and Raider Twuan. Both of them channels are also linked in the description, and as well as should both channels should be live as well. So if you guys can go to both channels, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to either one of us, and we would greatly appreciate it. Jesse Cardenas in the building as well. Ray Love is in the building as well. What's good, Ray Love? Let me see him scroll. Milka Beezy, salute. Let me see. Lakers in 5, not 4, but 5. What's good? What's good? Cool
Hey,
Kev is
shout
also
out, shout out to Lakers in Five. That is a great podcast that I actually go over there and,
Mm.
and support. So definitely thank you for pulling up to check me
Oh
out,
yeah.
man, for real.
You already know Lakers all day, man. Lakers all day. Milka Beezy. Shout out to Christian Wood though. Milka
Hey,
B. Uh, the B slapped me right now in the car. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's fire. It's fire. Shout out to Dark in the building as well. What's good, Dark? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Life of the Nation. 30 is up in the building. What's good? What's good? Let me see. Let me see. Hopefully I didn't skip anybody. I don't think I skipped anybody. Shout out to everybody that's in here though. Like I said, for who's there so far. Of course, like I said, this podcast is literally, hey, us two. And it's all about the Raiders, man. And Twan, let them know about that phrase, man. What does that 2 for 1 mean,
so
man? Yeah.
So two for one is actually something that me and my partner here, Eric, has have said to each other. If you guys know me, I have like with certain people within YouTube, I have little phrases that I say to them. You know what I'm saying? For an example, I say $2 with Cool Kev. That's me and his. Like me and Terrence is, I say Terrence is my hero. You know what I'm saying? And I also talk trash with Terrence, but I got love for Terrence. But with me and SC, we have this special thing. It's like an inside joke that me and him had about some other stuff that's going on, and I'm not gonna put that out there because that's my boy. So I ain't gonna put his business out there. But it was a phrase that I used, and it was 2 for 1. But we're using it for this podcast because we're two individuals, and everybody knows, and everybody should know that there's only one nation, and that nation is Raider Nation. So
Yes,
it
sir.
goes, the connection goes to guys that are for the one nation, which is the Raider Nation. And that's why you get the 2 for 1 podcast. But also, even on top of that, when you go to the store, when you go get groceries, when you go,
Mhm.
buy your clothes, anytime you see 2 for 1, they consider that a special. So this podcast is also going to be special because us 2 for 1 is a special thing. So definitely
Fact.
shout out to everybody. That's what 2 for 1 stands for. I might have to say it a couple of more times, but that's what 2 for 1 means. Two good guys that are for one nation, which is the Raider Nation.
Yep. Saludos, saludos, Jaime. Saludos, Jaime. Shout out to Jaime in the building, man. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Saludos a Mexico. And shout out to everybody in here that is here so far. I appreciate everybody. El Capitan Rafael's in the building as well. Shout out to El Capitan Rafael in the building. Good to see everybody and everybody joining us little by little. I appreciate you guys in here, man. We already got 30 people in here. If you guys can't hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. And like I said, we're simulcast to 2 different channels today. It's obviously I think a good day in the football world, right? It's the start of the NFL season as of today. Of course, the Raiders ain't playing today. It's Detroit and the sorry ass Chiefs. But football season, that means football season's underway. And that also means the Raiders regular season is right around the corner on Sunday. Of course, 1:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:25 Eastern Standard Time. Broncos Raiders Week 1. Um, and overall, that's what mainly we're gonna talk about today, man. The preview of that game. Of course, um, Twan, I didn't get to get your insight on what's been happening the past 2 days, and I think you know what I'm talking about with a certain player. How are you feeling with that situation? Do you think, are you one of those that's like, whatever happens, happens, or you truly think that he might actually play? That's the question for you.
Is he going to play? I mean, it's that part we don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's been some reports out there that, he's like, hey, if I don't play, you know what I'm saying, I might drop some more news. I kind of am refraining from trying to really break the situation down. I'm kind of more in a
Yeah.
wait and see kind of thing, because I've seen where a lot of people have gone, I felt took it a little too far. Um, you know, uh, if it is a situation of mental health, you know what I'm saying, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to diagnose anybody. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of I've realized that a lot of social media, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, YouTube, whatever you want to, Twitter, you know what I'm saying, it seemed like a lot of people got degrees. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they got it from Everest College or DeVry, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't know where they got their degree from, but it seems like a lot of people have degrees on this situation. But I'm just in a wait and see. Would I would love for him to be out there on the field? Yes, because he is a big piece to you know what I'm saying, our defense moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Not just this week, but if we're really trying to get to the playoffs, if we're really trying to get to the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying, and that should be the goal every year, is to get to the Super Bowl, we're going to need Chandler Jones. You know what I'm saying? But also, whatever is going on with them, I hope they figure that out and work that out. That's as far as I'm really willing to go into it. But
Yeah.
and that's my take on it. I'm stepping away from it, and not being a fake doctor or psychiatrist, as some people have been trying to be. So
Mhm. I'm the same way, man. I said whatever happens, happens, and I'm gonna wait and see until the truth comes out, because everybody's saying different things, right? At the end of the day, I'm just praying, hope he's okay and everything goes good, and
mm.
only time will tell, right? Shout
and,
out to Sean Johnson joining us. Oh, go ahead.
and I will say this though, and I've said it a few times, but I will stand on this, that no matter how crazy a person may be, or the situation may be, when people say things, you know what I'm saying, there is some truth in what they say. It may, now how much truth, we we won't know, and what is true, we won't, know right now. But even a drunk person, um the things that come out of their mouth, there's still some truth when they when,
Yeah.
even when they're drunk, there is some truth that comes out. So I believe that even in this situation, some of the stuff that we are seeing, as crazy as it is, there might be some real truth to it, but we won't know what the truth is, and only time will tell.
Facts. Me, I you know me, you know my stance on Josh McDaniels and my stance and everything, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I tried like staying away, which I'm still gonna stay away from it, because I don't want nobody really, I don't want to get into a debate when it comes to it. But like you said, there is some truth to it, but we got to see what exactly is the truth. What part of what he said was the truth, and only, like I said, only time will tell. But shout out to everybody that's joining us. Angels in the building. Erick Twuan was good, homies. Football's finally here. Let's beat those donkeys. Salute to you guys and the Raider Nation family. Salute to you as well, Angel. I appreciate you for stopping on by. Raiders Primos is in the building. Salute. Shout out to Dark, Stack 'em up, pack 'em up, rack 'em up. Please hit that like button for both channels. We'll greatly appreciate it. But let's get straight into Sunday, right? I'm excited. It's gonna be an interesting battle, right? Let's
Right.
first Yep. Let's
Hey,
first.
before we do that, you know what I'm saying? Since this is the 2 for 1, you know what I'm saying, podcast, the official emojis for the 2 for 1 podcast is juice boxes and brown crackers. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Get those flowing in the chat. Get that flowing for
fact.
us in the chat. Anytime we do 2 for 1, you know what I'm saying? Get the Capri Suns and the brown crackers flowing in the chat.
I feel that, and same Primos. I hope the Chiefs lose today, but Detroit is a good up and coming rebuilding team right now. They're looking really good. But let's get straight into Sunday, right? Raiders versus Broncos. I call this position battles, right? First, let's talk about the head coaches. On one hand, you have Josh McDaniels in his second year for the Raiders, of course, a offensive coordinator turned head coach again. And then on the other side, you have a very, you could say proven head coach in Sean Payton, but instead of being in the NFC, now he heads to one of the toughest divisions in the AFC West that takes over a team that is not so good. What you feel about these head coaches? Who do you think, if you were to predict who would outcoach who would it be? What you feel about these head coaches?
That is actually a very interesting question. And I'm glad you asked that because I feel like, in one hand, I would say it would go to Sean Payton just because he's been a head coach longer. You know what I'm saying? McDaniels is still trying to prove and figure out the whole head coach situation. Obviously, we know that he failed, you know what I'm saying, when he was in Denver, and he's with us and got a second chance at it. I'm fine with that, but I think he's still trying to figure out how to manage being a head coach where Peyton already knows how to be a head coach. But on the other hand, which is what I'm more leaning to, is I think McDaniels has the up on it because Peyton is coming in to a system of his first year. You know what I'm saying? This is the first year that he's been, with the Broncos, and he's trying to he's observing, figuring out things and what pretty much what's going to stay and what's going to go. You know what I'm saying? He's figuring all that out, but also trying to put out a decent product, right? He's juggling that. Whereas McDaniels, this is his second year with, you know what I'm saying, with this, well, not with this group, but with the team, you know what I'm saying? And now as things have been progressing, he's been trickling guys in that fit his system and fit what he's trying to do. So I in the coaching situation, time frame, I give McDaniels the up, even though if you're just telling me, who is I feel would be the better coach, I think Peyton would be the better coach, head coach wise.
That's a fact. And shout out to D Menace in the building and Terrence are both in the building. What's good? What's good? Good to see both of you guys, man. Hope all is well. For me, personally, of course, head coaching wise, I give it to Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is one of those most underrated guys. A lot of people don't give the respect that Sean Payton deserves in many stances.
Mhm.
But I will say that that um that as far as an offensive mind, right? I give it a little edge to Josh McDaniels. We know what he's capable of course. Um, being in, I guess, pressure moments, I would give it as it's tough because of course, Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator has rings under his belt, but then Sean Payton has wins and pressure moments in general as just the
Yeah.
head coach in general. So it's like that little bit of a difference between both. Would it have been good to have like a Josh McDaniels offensive coordinator and Sean Payton as a head coach on the same team? That would have been pretty well too.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened, right? For me personally, as a head coach, and let me repeat this again because people are gonna be like, "What the head coach, HC, I give it to Sean Payton because
Mm.
he's more proven as a head coach than Josh McDaniels is as a head coach. You talk about coordinator, I give the edge obviously to Josh McDaniels and the offensive side of the ball and all that. So let me repeat it. Head coach, I give it to Sean Payton. But as far as anything else, Josh McDaniels. So that's of course the head coach, but that does not mean that one team will beat the other team just because of the head coach. Because you always need talent on the field and people to execute what you got to say. And that leads me to the quarterbacks. One side, you have ex Seattle Seahawk Russell Wilson, Sierra 11 Russell Wilson. Then on the other side, you got Jimmy, the P Star, Garoppolo, ex Niner, ex Patriot. Who would you give the edge to? I don't know if you've seen preseason, but Russell Wilson did not look good at all. So, what you feel about these quarterbacks, man? Who you choosing, man?
This is another interesting situation because if you would go back, if you go history wise, you know what I'm saying. Russell Wilson has been, Jimmy Garoppolo's daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
the Seahawks always, for some reason, even despite how horrible their season might have been, they always figured out a way to beat the Niners. You know what I'm saying? And in this situation, I think it's going to be the opposite. And for the what you just previously said, I feel like what I saw in the preseason from Russell Wilson, it's going to be tough for them. And I'm not. I also, with that being said, I'm not one of those ones that are saying that's also saying that Russell Wilson doesn't have skills at the quarterback position. I still believe that he's still a starting quarterback in this league. I still think that, you know what I'm saying, maybe he's not the Seattle guy of, you know what I'm saying, the whole elusive, running all around the field, you know what I'm saying, type of player, but he can still, you know what I'm saying, run an offense. And I I still give it to I give it to Jimmy at right
Mhm.
now over Russell Wilson.
I
Now
agree too.
if there was a, like, if I can just, like, if there was like some brown cracker serum, you know what I'm saying, I could
Mhm.
inject into him, you know what I'm saying, and see what happens then, give him a little juice. I think Russell Wilson might have that edge. But
Mhm.
right now, um, yeah, I give it a Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G is the weapons that he had over there in Debo, and he had Brandon Ayuk, and he had George Kittle, and he had a good offensive line, an excellent offensive line at that. Now he's coming to a team that I feel like has a better receiving core than the
Mm,
Niners, obviously, because Devontae alone is better than any receivers over the Niners. That's obvious. And then you got Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, two guys that have hands, that have route running ability, that could get separation quick. And what is Josh McDaniel's system built on? Releasing the ball quick and yards after catch. And all these guys do the same exact thing and all
mm,
have hands. And I think that's why they even got sold on Wilkerson, because Wilkerson in the preseason showed he got hands. So for me overall, I think Jimmy Garoppolo has the edge in this. I know, obviously, like you said, career wise, I'll give it to Russell just because he's had a little bit more success in certain aspects. But Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those guys that when he has a team around him could do just enough to win or good enough to win. And Russell Wilson right now just doesn't look good in the system in Denver. I don't know what it is, if it's the receivers he's working with or the tight ends or them trying to build an offensive line. I know they spent a lot of money on the offensive line this offseason, so I don't know how that's gonna look. But so far in preseason, he looked really, 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 really off, and it kind of translates from last year. Last year he didn't even do good either. I think I know it was only 1 year, but I always said that Pete Carroll was the true reason why Russell Wilson worked. And then he came over here in Denver and shit the bed. And that could be a little bit part of the head coach, of course, of last year. But I still give the edge to Pete Carroll when it comes to the Pete Carroll Russell Wilson thing. Oh, who did this? Who did that? So now he's got Sean Payton, another guy, like I said, is kind of like not on the level of Pete Carroll, but right underneath, I would say, or at least in the same, l- probably similar level. So for me, I give the edge to Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, I think he's the better quarterback right now because he does just enough to win and he gets the job done. And um, just by a recent season like last season. He had a higher touchdown percentage, had a higher red zone percentage. He had uh, better interception touchdown ratio, and stuff like that. And you know, that's just it. So for me personally, I would go Jimmy Garoppolo on this as well. And shout out to everybody that's just joining us. Let me see what people got to say. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I would greatly appreciate. I appreciate that. Dark Knight in a fair fight between wide receivers. Man, Broncos lost three of their wide receivers. Tim Patrick gone, Jerry Judy gone, KJ Hamler gone. Just like that, they lost three. So that we'll get to the receivers right now. Shout out to EJ Raider in the building. What's good, EJ? Good to see you. Salute, salute, salute. Hope all is well. I'm giving Jimmy based off the supporting cast. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Let me scroll up to see if I missed anybody else.
You guys make sure you guys hit the like button on both of our channels. We are simulcasting from Raider Twuan and also from SE Experience. So definitely please click the like button on each video. Why? Because we like you guys.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But Daniel's going to pull out the golden playbook. Fact. Shout out to Raider Paul, man. What's good, Raider Paul? Good to see you. And moving on, obviously, and I think this one might be easy for both of us, but I just want to go through it. The running back position. On one side, you have obviously Josh Jacobs, Samir, Brandon Bolden, but most importantly, Josh Jacobs, right? On their side, they got Javonte Williams. They have Samaji Perine and Jaleel McLaughlin on their team. What do you? I think this is easy, but go ahead. What do you think about the running back position? Who do you think got the edge on this one?
I give it to the Broncos. Just kidding. Nah, nah. And here I'm gonna hear like you guys know me. I love the Raiders, but I also give respect when respect is due. The running backs that they do have over there, they're no slouches. You know what I'm saying? They are no slouches. You know what I'm saying? And if we're sleeping, they'll give us a blanket and a pillow. You know what I'm saying? In regards to the running game. So I defensively, I don't want them to sleep on this running game, and we might have to, obviously we'll probably talk about that a little bit down the line. But the running back room, I give it to Josh Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? He leads our room as the Raiders. But I'm not sleeping on the Broncos, but I do give the Raiders the edge. And of course, we have, you know what I'm saying, the second best running back in all of NFL football, and that's Brandon Bolden.
Hey, he's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT on the running back position, man. But besides that, of course,
don't do drugs, people. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Especially kids. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Drugs
Stay
are
in
bad.
school. Stay in school, bro. Stay in school. But obviously, I agree with you there. Obviously, the obvious one is Josh Jacobs, hands down, no questions asked. But like you said, I'm not gonna sleep on Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, um, had a lot to do last season, especially in four certain games where he actually started. He had 4.3 yards per carry and had 204 total yards in those four games alone. That's not Josh Jacobs numbers, but it's good enough. 4.3 yards per carry is pretty damn good in my book. And that's already goes from a 1st and 10 to 2-5 or 2-6, just like that, and get a couple yards. So, for me, I'm not gonna sleep on Javante, but I do think Josh Jacobs is three times better than him. Now it is gonna go based on um who's gonna use the run game more, right? Now with the and that's what I'm interested to see the Raiders play, and I'm very excited to see them play on Sunday. Of course, it's Raiders season. Not only that, I love the Raiders, but on top of that, it's an exciting team because you don't know what you're gonna get from this offense. Are you gonna get more of a passing game this year because you got weapons and you got a new quarterback that knows the system, or are you just gonna run the ball like you did last year? And it's a question that we could predict it, right? I could say, oh yeah, they're gonna run it more, but we don't know until they touch down on the field on Sunday, man, and it's gonna be very exciting. And I truly believe that, like last year, they kind of gave us glimpse of when the quarterback's out there, how they're gonna play. And what I'm referring to is Jared Stidham when he was out there against, I believe, the Niners. they were passing the ball a little bit more than what Derek Carr got to pass it. Um, so we're gonna see how it does with Jimmy Garoppolo on the field. I do think, and just like Terrence said, it might most likely be balanced, and I love that because um, I want to see a little bit more passing game. You know, we didn't really see it last season too much, and now you got weapons, even more better weapons, and you have a quarterback that knows the system. So now go out there, execute, and now you have a running back. Your running back in Josh Jacobs. So it's going to be very, very, very exciting. Run the ball, control the line. I agree with Terrence. It's going to be more balanced offensive attack. Going to be interesting how Williams comes back from the ACL injury. You have a quarterback that can deliver the ball to your star wide receivers. You don't have to run the ball much when you're moving the ball via passing game. Um, Shout out to North Cal Raider Jesse in the building. What's good, North Cal? Good to see you. Salute, salute. With how crappy the Donkeys O line is, I wouldn't be surprised if Mad Max breaks the single game sack record. That would be interesting, right? That's not even a question of fact. Shout out to Alfredo, man. Shout out to everybody in here. Um, of course, now we're gonna go on to the obvious wide receiver one, man. They're missing three wide receivers, of course, in Jerry Judy, KJ Hamler, and Tim Patrick. And we obviously have our three receivers that are starting. How you feel about the wide receivers, man?
They're beat up. The Broncos wide receivers are beat up early. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's gonna, you know, it's gonna cripple them. You know what I'm saying? Where I feel their roster on paper, just the names, you know what I'm saying, that they have on their roster, is a solid team. But they get hit with the injury bug, and that Jerry Judy injury is more dangerous than people think. He's gonna have to deal with that injury for a while. As a matter of fact, it's gonna be all season that he's gonna have to deal with that injury, even when he comes back. Um, that injury that he has is very tricky, and yeah, they're already hit with the injury bug, especially in their wide receiver room. So,
Mhm.
um, which one I give the edge to? I give it to the Raiders, and not only just talent wise, but just of what I just said is health. I don't think we have a wide receiver right now. I'm knocking on some of that oak, you know. uh I'm knocking on wood because right now we're healthy, and we're going to
Yeah.
need those guys to stay healthy. At no matter how talented our wide receivers are and how deep, you know what I'm saying, we think our wide receiver group is. Look, it's always a lovely situation when you got DA, Renfro, and Myers healthy. You know what I'm saying? As your main wide receiver. So I definitely give it to the Raiders on the wide receiver group.
And that's a fact. Same. And they're saying plus with the deep threat and great route running, you could decoy deep passes. We will also have a great play action. Shout out to Raider Ben in the building. It was good, Raider Ben. Good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Shout out to Willie Wayne as well. Salute, salute, salute to everybody coming on by, man. We're simulcasting at two different channels, SC Experience and Raider Twuan. Please, please, please go hit that like button for both and subscribe if you are new. And as far as the wide receiver group, obviously Raiders hands down. Um, we have arguably two of the best slot receivers in the league when healthy and when out there. We have the best receiver, if not top three best receiver in the league in Devontae. And then on top of that, they have a banged up wide receiver room, like you said. Somebody to look out for Denver though, and they just drafted him, I believe, this recent year, from Oklahoma, I believe. Marvin Mims, man, Marvin Mims. He's somebody that I was looking at when it came to wide receivers. He did decent in the preseason, I believe. I didn't see too much of the Broncos. I just know that Russell Wilson played pretty bad. But when Marvin Mims was out there, he's one of those guys that have a little bit of a quickness to him. Um, but overall, Marvin Mims is somebody to step up for the Broncos if that's the case. Um, he does have a questionable a little bit of times at hands. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of Trey Tucker as far as the hands goes. But I do believe that even with Marvin Mims stepping up over there, at the end of the day, it doesn't scare me at all. We got a good cornerback room. I believe so. You know, when a Meek is like the third on the depth, like fifth cornerback on the depth chart, six. That like Twan said, even last year before we even got signings, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And shout out to JB in the building. Was good. It's a good thing for us, but we'll get to the cornerbacks in a bit. But I do want to talk about, and now that we're in the wide receiver position battle, I want to bring up a player spotlight, a position spotlight slash versus slash head to head. Patrick Surtain versus Devontae Adams once again. Patrick Surtain, arguably a top 10 corner, obviously in the league. Very young, very good for them. And then you got Devontae, one of the best receivers, if not best receiver in the league. Last year alone, when Devontae Adams was targeted against Patrick Surtain, he went 9 for 14 for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns on Patrick Surtain. So how you feeling about that battle between Surtain and Devontae?
I think it's going to be closer than what we think. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people want to feel like, DA is just going to kill, you know what I'm saying, Surtain. I think Surtain actually is getting better. I think Surtain is also having that bad taste in his mouth of his name being out there, put it out there that he wasn't ready. The way DA did him at the end, you know what I'm saying, and was talking trash about it. Surtain's probably he probably has that chip on his shoulder. So I think, look out for that matchup, because I think it is going to be one of those ones where it might even get physical, more physical than we've seen, you know what I'm saying, on the outside, because of things that have been said, and then also Surtain also wants to insert himself as that dominant. Now, if I had to put money on it, who would I put money down on? It would be on DA. You know what I'm saying? I think DA would win. You know what I'm saying? Out of 10 reps, who's going to win? You know what I'm saying? I think DA would win that. But don't think that Surtain's not going to make his plays. You know what I'm saying? I think he was a rookie last year, and he was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So him coming into his second year, I expect a jump in his play. Now, is he going to beat DA? No,
2 years ago,
not really. But I do see him playing better against DA.
Facts, and I believe this is Surtain's third year. He got drafted in 2021, so it's the third season. But even then, young guy, like you said, very young, very promising for them. But at the end of the day, I think Devontae is gonna cook him again, because Devontae is one of those guys. And before I get to it, let me shout out everybody. Fuck him, let DA cook his ass again. Yeah. Fuck Surtain. Shout out to Nothing But Raiders podcast in the building. It was good to see you. Hope all is well. The question is, how many times will Tay get targeted? That's a good question. I think not as much as last year in week 1, where he was targeted like 90% of the time, trying to use him a lot. But I will say enough for him to get 100 yards. How you feel about the targets?
I think he's going to serve more as a decoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're not gonna put him on, like, it would be stupid to put DA on an island. So that means defenses are going to shift on when it comes to passing situations. They're gonna shift more towards DA's side. So that means everybody else is going to be on one-on-ones. That means Jacoby Myers is going to be on one-on-ones. That means Renfro might be on one-on-ones. Our tight ends, you know what I'm saying? Whatever is going to be one-on-ones. So is he going to get some touches here and there? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If the play breaks down and we need to, you know what I'm saying, need to get those yards, you know what I'm saying? Even Jimmy G said it, when all else fails, throw it up to DA. You know You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that. But I don't think he's going to get a lot of like focused action. I think a lot of the other guys are going to eat because of what DA is putting out there on the field.
And I feel you on that one. Shout out to Raider Gabe in the building as well. Good to see everybody in here. Sebastian Gonzalez is also in the building. Salute. Desert Raiders, salute. I think I already gave a shout out to Nothing But Raiders, but what's good. Good to see everybody joining us. And if I skipped you, I'm very, very sorry. The chat's going crazy, and I appreciate you guys for making the chat active, man. We out here with 57 people, man. If you guys can't hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. And we're both on both channels, and Raider Twuan and the SC Experience. So I appreciate. Um, Wrench is like the only way YouTube lets folks see the comments. Yeah, the thing is YouTube, I guess, chat be messed up sometimes. Like sometimes you gotta click live chat instead of top chat, and sometimes I can't see certain people's things. So also on my behalf, um if anybody doesn't get a salute from me in the chat and anywhere, that doesn't mean I skipped you on purpose. The YouTube chat be messed up, especially when you're on mobile. I don't know what it is. It's really weird. But yeah, and Ben, yeah, he said he didn't block you. It's just the YouTube stuff. So, just to throw that out there, so you don't gonna get no miscommunication out here. Shout out to Queen Raider. What up, Queen? Good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to Leo as well, man. Salute, Leo. Good to see you. Hope all as well. Um, but obviously, like I said, Devontae's gonna easily cook. He says he skipped me. My bad, man. Bad. Shout out to Chile, man. What's good, Chile? Good to see you. Hope all as well. It's just going crazy, man. It keeps going up a bit. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to scroll back. But I appreciate you guys. Um, but of course, that's the wide receiver group. Obviously, I'm interested to see their secondary versus our receivers this year. It's going to be an interesting battle between the two. Um, and obviously, I put tight end too. I mean, I'm not gonna put the offensive line because to me, they're not really going against each other. It's more of their defensive line versus offensive line, and our offensive line against their defensive line. So that's a whole different topic. But how you feel about the tight ends for them? I believe they have Adam Trotman. I don't know too much about him. Greg Dosage, I know a lot about. Um, Chris something. I'm not gonna say that last name. And Nate Atkins, for their tight end position. And then we obviously have Austin Hooper, Michael Mayer, uh, Horsted, obviously. And shout out to Eduardo. What's good, Eduardo? Let's start the defense with the strip sack and the pick six. I hope so, man. Shout out to Snoops Hernandez in the building as well. Eric jumps higher than the Energizer Bunny. What the fuck, cool Kev? But what you feel about the tight ends, man?
So Troutman actually came from the Saints, so he
Mm,
has a
okay.
rapport with Peyton.
Hayden.
So
Okay.
and then Dulcich, I like him as a tight end. You know what I'm saying? I saw him like kill us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I forgot what game it was. But yeah. Um this one's closer than you think.
Mm.
This one, to be honest with you, I'm gonna have to give it to the Broncos.
It's an interesting one.
I'm gonna give it to the
Okay.
Broncos because you have to look at it like this too. We have Austin Hooper, which whatever you view on Austin Hooper, but then who's the number 2 tight end? And
Mm.
I'm looking when you said tight ends, my mind automatically went to a 2 tight end set. So I'm looking not at just one tight end. I'm looking at who the other tight end is. And if they have Troutman and Dulcich versus Austin Hooper and a rookie in Mayer, I got to give it slightly, and when I say slightly, real slightly, to Denver on the tight end situation.
And I 100% agree with you there because we don't know what we're gonna get from Michael Mayer when it comes to number ones out there. We don't know. We don't know until Sunday, right? Once Sunday passes, we're gonna obviously know for next week when we play Buffalo what's
Mm.
to come. and what to expect from the tight end. But as of right now, I understand that we don't know too much about what he could bring to the table. Um, Not discrediting none of our tight ends. Of course, they're going to be utilized, and I think they will do a little bit of something. But I do give the edge a little bit to the Broncos when it comes to the tight end position, just because you have names over there that actually are familiar with things over there, and also um, we seen what they could do, right? Austin Hooper didn't do really good last year. Yeah, he did decently, but he didn't do anything excellent or out of the ordinary, or out of the ordinary. My bad. On that level. So for me, overall, I do believe I do believe the Broncos have a little bit of an edge. Uh, but I do have a lot of respect for Michael Mayer, man. I think
Agree.
Michael Mayer, and everybody knows how much I hate Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame with a passion. I'm a USC fan at the end of the day, so I absolutely hate Notre Dame. But I gotta give respect, and I gotta give credit to when credit's due. And Michael Mayer was one of my favorite picks in the draft because he's a first round talent that got picked in the second round. Michael Mayer reminds me of Mark Andrews a lot of possession tight end type dude. Could route
Mm,
run, has the ability to catch a lot. So for me, Michael Mayer it is a really good tight end. One of my favorite tight ends coming out of he says called that USC cheaters. One of my favorite guys. So personally, USC bias aside and looking at it from a football standpoint, what he could bring to the table, he's something special, and he has the potential to be something special. Will he hit that this year? He can. Will it? Time will tell, right? I also have Michael Mayer in my fantasy, by the way. I do. By the way, I do, my boy. So I hope Michael Mayer does really good, and I think he will. I just feel like I have to see it on the NFL field. I've seen it in college. I need to see if he could translate it on the field. And as far as number ones are out there, not just preseason. I mean, number ones and
yeah.
playing for something. Um, but yeah, that's just a little bit of not concern. See if he could translate it, and the first game will show, and then once the second game comes about, we'll have a better understanding of what he could bring to the table when it comes to regular season. But shout out to everybody that's in here, man. Is Mir tight end 1 or 2 on the depth chart? He's number 2. Will he be number 2? Most likely. Will he take over tight end 1 eventually? Yes. That's my prediction. You think he's tight end 1 or 2?
He's definitely number two. I give the number one to Austin Hooper. But to Mayer's positive, I think he actually is a complete tight end where he can pass and he'll get the NFL blocking down. So eventually, I'm saying, I think what's going to happen is, Mayer is going to be that number one for us. And then, it might be cheap labor all the way around in the tight end room. We might have like one real veteran, like an old tight end, just kind of at the end of the roster, just to kind of, maybe just be the old guy in the room. But outside of that, I think Mayer, like, look out for Mayer next year. I think Mayer is going to be our number one. And he's going to take that. He's going to earn that spot. So cheap
Um,
labor.
Yep. So we gonna see what happens, but I wouldn't doubt it if our tight ends do better. It's not gonna surprise me. Makes sense. Give the rookie to learn midseason, and a lot of the rookies are backups. Like you see it across the depth chart. They're behind a veteran. Can't wait for Sunday. We have the state cup for soccer for my daughter and son, and the Raiders play. Let's go. Hey. Hopefully they do good, man. Hopefully they win that state cup. And Raiders is always a good day when the Raiders play. Welcome to the yeah, shout out to Dark Man. Please hit that like button, hit that like button. All hands on deck. Players need to show up Sunday. That's a fact. That's a fact. And this is where we get a little bit interesting because the offensive side of the ball, we agreed that majority of the positions we win, and majority of it in the offensive side of the ball. Now the defensive side of the ball, and this is a Denver Broncos strength and a Raiders non-strength. And a lot of questions there. So now let's first go with the interior defensive line as far as the D tackle room goes. Obviously, Bilal Nichols, Jerry Tillery, obviously, Adam Butler, I could keep going down the list. Nesta J. Severa, um, and all these guys, right? And then of course Denver, if you guys didn't know, has DJ Jones, has Mike Porcel, um, and yeah, Frank Clark can go in the inside and outside, so I'll consider him interior defensive line as well. Who do you think got the edge in the interior defensive line of things? The D tackle. Shout out to the Raider room in the building. Good to join us. Good to see you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I give it to the Broncos.
Mm,
Yep, to the Broncos.
that's interesting. Why give it to the Broncos? What you feel about them?
They got some pass rush up the middle. Some legit pass rush up the middle. Now we'll see. We'll test the run up the middle. We'll see how that works for them. But is there somebody on this, somebody on the Raiders roster where I can say they're going to, we can trust on them every week to get pass rush up the middle? I can't really hang my hat on that. So I not saying that these guys aren't, I'm not saying they're bums, but I'm just saying that if you put their pass rush up the middle versus our pass rush up the middle, I think you talking about Frank Clark, like I'll put him up against, you know what I'm saying, any of our guys, and that might be a problem. So
I just don't know if you want to consider Frank Clark, and in the depth chart for them, they have him at edge, but he's a guy that could play inside and outside. So I don't know what you want to consider him.
yeah,
He's just all over. I should have put defensive line in general. But they both teams have a lot of people that could play in the inside and outside, and I think I think DJ Jones brings a lot of good stuff to the defensive line on their side. For us personally, we obviously have Jerry Tiller, Bilal Nichols, but let's be honest, and I see a lot of people kind of disagree on that sense of giving the edge to the Broncos. But I have a question for everybody in the chat, and a question in general. Did we have interior pressure last year? That's a question for you guys. Everybody that is Raider fans here, and everybody in the chat. Did we have, yes or no, just yes or no? Did we have interior pressure last year? Yes or no? That's just the question I want to give. And then
that's a good
yeah,
question.
Terrence, we're talking interior defensive line. Yeah.
That is a good question. If I know which way you're going, but yeah.
Terrence says he agrees with you. He thought we were talking about the whole defensive line. Interior pressure, no. I see a lot of no's. Shout out to Oscar Forway. Shout out to everybody joining us. No, we didn't. Not consistent. Who was starting for us last year?
You want me to answer that?
And I know one of them started only half the season, but go ahead. Who started for?
I think the people that started for us are the people that are starting for us today. This game. So
That's why I give the edge to the
Broncos. Like, so has anything changed?
And that's what I'm saying. And you have a lot of guys that are new here. And facts, right? Billings was really good for us last season. He actually was. He actually did decent for us. And where's Billings?
Howdy.
But I will say the Broncos did lose their star pass rusher last year. They did in their interior. They're another team that lost their thing. But what I'm saying is that we have a lot of guys that are questioned because we don't know until they go against number ones this upcoming Sunday. And like I said, obviously, obviously, we're gonna start. We're gonna know everything after this game. That's why right now some of the answers we give you is kind of like a shocker, like what the hell?
Mhm.
But it's because we got to look at the reality of it. There's a lot of questions on a lot of players on our team, and we don't have the answer to those questions until they show up on Sunday. And that's the only reason why. Like I promise you, after this week, we will have an answer, pretty much. And from there, it'll be easier to really dictate what positions are better and what players could bring what. Um, and when Taylor got there, we did get pressure, and still not enough. We did get pressure. I will admit it. The first two games where Tillery came in was really damn good, but then it started being inconsistent after that. Wilson would be terrible right now as DT. That's a fact.
And
Denver linebackers were better than their front four. Their linebackers are really good.
and then because that's the other one. Everybody's counting on Tillery to be the savior. Tillery also is not great at stopping the run. So you're getting something on one side, but you're not getting it on the other. So hopefully he's in, you know what I'm saying, on a pass rush play or something like that or whatever. Hopefully Patrick Graham puts him in the right, situation, but look out for that because Bilal Nichols didn't play well last year. I think we all can say that Bilal Nichols should have played better than what he played last year. And then you have Tillery on the other side of him. And yeah, he might be able to get the push up the middle, but if he's not good at stopping the run, that might also present a problem. So
John Jenkins is stout on the run. Hankins, Billings were opening day starters. They're gone now, and even then, and I don't think Billings was garbage. I disagree when you say Billings was garbage. I think Billings was decent. I don't think he was garbage. Hankins was. I don't know what the fuck Hankins was doing to be honest. But obviously, Billings for me was decent. John Jenkins stout on the run. Bilal Nichols started the first 4 or 8 games on IR, obviously, right? And when he came, there's a lot, but it's a lot of questions. You feel me? Like I see here, like the Raider Room said, right? Nichols is a pass rushing DT. If he plays better, we'll be okay, especially with the rest of the DT group. If he plays better, we'll be okay. Now that's a question that we don't know the answer to until Sunday happens, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. We have a lot of oh this guy's really good. We're gonna see on like we don't know until they put on the pads and they play on Sunday. We don't know until they play against number ones. We just could assume as of right now, and that's why just right now, based on last year, the certain players we're giving credit to is the certain players we're giving credit to is because we know what they could do because they showed it on the field against number one. Us, we had a lot of ifs. We have a lot of ifs. We have a lot of ifs. Oh, could be. That's a lot of yeah.
I didn't know we had an if on the 53.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I give the edge to them. But when it comes to the defensive ends, now we go on to what? Hold on. Now we go on to this one. That was defensive tackles, the interior defensive line. Now the outside, and I think the Raiders have the edge on this one. Obviously, I think the Raiders are better on the edge. I know they do have Clark, right? But I still think that the defensive end, the outskirts of the defensive line, we have the edge on it. Obviously, Max Crosby, a dog, the best defensive line out there on Sunday. That's gonna be the best out there on Sunday. Chandler Jones is up in the air if he plays or not. We still gotta see, but if he is out there, he's hungry. We do know that he is hungry. He said it. He's hungry. Tyree Wilson is gonna get rotation. Josh McDaniels even said that nobody's gonna play 90 snaps. Nobody's gonna play that much, and that means there's gonna be a lot of rotation. Malcolm Kuntz, I have a lot of faith in. I've always had faith in the guy. The guy just needs the ability to have more play time. So for me, I have the edge, regardless if Chandler's there or not. I have the edge on the Raiders, better than the Broncos when it comes to it. What do you feel like, Tom?
Yeah, I give the edge to the Raiders on the edge. And that's, you know, that's without Chandler Jones or with Chandler Jones. I feel like I think our defensive ends are better. Yeah. Yeah. That part is almost a no-brainer to me. So shout out to us having a good defensive end situation.
He said, so are we still waiting with all these advantages against it? It's only one advantage so far, Dark. We've only gave the Broncos one edge, and that's only been the interior defensive line so far. You could give, I mean, the offensive, I don't really give the offensive line. And I just found something out. You know, the Raiders last year, it kind of surprised me. The Raiders last year in pass blocking, they were 10th with the starters we have now. That was very shocking to me when I heard that. I was like, what? And then I had to do a little research. And yeah, they were good. And they were decent in pass blocking, especially towards the end of the season. And who are those starters? Where are those starters now? Here, again, second year under the belt. The only difference is that Bars isn't there. And Van Rodden's in his place. But I think Van Rodden's the better player either way.
So who said that we're not doing 90 snaps?
I believe McDaniels. He said something about let me read you the exact quote. Give me a second. Let me read you the exact quote real quick. He said they asked him about Tyree Wilson if he's gonna play, and Josh McDaniels goes, he'll be ready to go. Nobody's gonna play. Nobody's gonna play 70 plays on Sunday, meaning rotation.
Okay. He said 70.
Yeah, nobody's gonna play 70 snaps.
Okay, well,
that's what he said, referring to
if nobody plays 70, then Max Crosby definitely needs to play 69. I'm just saying, like, that would be the only one I'd be like, look, if you feel like you want to get out there, get out there. If you want Gatorade, let me know when you need Gatorade. But until then, stay out there though.
Mm-hmm. I feel that, and yeah, that's there's gonna be rotation, and I'm glad Wilson's gonna get to play at least a snap or two. It's already confirmed there as far as that goes. But yeah.
Yeah.
I named my character in Hogwarts Legacy. Correction, then he playing 69. Shout out to Big Toe. Raiders gonna destroy the Donkeys. I'm not scared of Denver's defense. We always expose them. Yeah, I ain't either. We only gave them the edge on one position so far. So it kind of looks like it's swelling our way a lot.
Two.
Brother. Huh? Did we two?
Yeah.
Oh, the head coach.
No, 3.
Which is the third one?
Head coach. No, I gave it to McDaniels.
So 2, right?
So 2. Tight ends. I gave it to the tight ends and D line. Okay. Or D tackle.
Yeah. So far the Raiders are winning by like what, 5-2? 5-2 as far as position battles goes. 5-2. So it's not bad at all.
So far.
Yeah, so far. bro, their interior line is all of two people. Actually, four people, not two. Um, but they're not even that good. We're six deep at that position. Six players on the position. This is what you're not getting. I see where you're heading to it. I see where you're heading with it. Of like, oh, this guy was really good this way, and this guy was good this way. This guy's gonna be really good for us when it's this way. We don't know until Sunday. We just don't know. So for me, I'm basing it on a lot to do with the starters and their backups. And we do have a lot of players in that certain position. A lot of rotations going to happen. A lot of fresh legs, obviously. But when it comes to, how do I say it, talent level on what they performed last year, as far as the starters especially, they have the edge on that one because of the things they did last year.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Not saying that's what exactly is gonna happen, but as of right now, just looking at them, that's what it is, right? Um, and you could include Tyree Wilson in the interior defensive line if you want. I don't think they'll play him in the defensive tackle. For them, you have to add Frank Clark in because Frank Clark could play in the inside and outside. So at that point, what do you say after that? You have Mike Purcell, you have DJ Jones, um, you have Frank Clark, you have you see what I'm talking about, like when it comes to that. So that's the only reason why. Like I said, there's a lot of ifs, and that's the only reason why. I mean, I'm not saying they're way better than us, and hell no, they're not. I think it's a closer battle in that interior defensive line than what it was last year. Way closer. So, but yeah, but we still have the edge on defensive line and then when we talk about the defensive line in general, I think I give it to the Raiders at that point. I
Overall,
think
yeah.
overall the defensive line is the Raiders. Obviously, everything the Raiders. So we're just going by position, like defensive tackles and then defensive ends. But overall, the Raiders, obviously. Now we go on to the linebackers, obviously. Um, this is an interesting battle. The Broncos, I think they did lose one of their linebackers. Let me double check that. Um, Randy Gregory. Oh, I forgot Randy Gregory comes off the edge. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. But still, I give it to the Raiders. They have they have. Why is it? Oh, Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, and Nick Bonito. And even with that, and us having a lot of question marks at the linebacker position, I don't know about you, Twan, but I personally give it to the Raiders. I personally give it to the Raiders, bro. The Broncos lost a lot of their linebackers, bro.
I would love to have Josie Jewell as a Raider at linebacker because that's all they got. So as and as bad as I am about our linebacking room, it's very weird to say that I give the Raiders the win in regards to linebackers. Very weird to say. I don't even. I don't. It's hard. It's kind of hard for me to even say it. As bad as I think our linebacking room is, that we actually are winning when it comes to the linebackers.
And it's funny. I was just laughing at looking at their linebacker rule. So for me, yeah, linebackers obviously Raiders. Raiders got the linebackers. Raiders got the linebackers. So, um, yeah, they don't really have anybody to be honest. I mean, just what like you said, Josie Joe. But besides that, they have Drew Sanders backing up, which I like Drew Sanders actually from Arkansas. He's really good, but he's a rookie. He's very unproven. Um, besides that, Nick Bonito also is another guy that is a guy that's more of a pass rusher than he is a linebacker alone. And then Alex Singleton and Jonathan, and then Justin Sternrad, whoever the f that is, and then their third string Jonas Griffin's in the IR. So you could make the most of that. So personally, linebackers goes to the Raiders, obviously. Obviously. Who did you guys have as better at the moment quarterback? Oh, we both said Jimmy Garoppolo. We both said Jimmy Garoppolo. We both said Jimmy Garoppolo. We both had Jimmy Garoppolo over Russell. Just got up. Did I miss the midget arm wrestle? Shout out to Raider Allegiance in the building. Al's Ghosted also in the building. Joshua Young's also in the building. Milka Beezy. Shout out to Raider Room. Everybody joining us. I appreciate you guys. If you guys can, please hit that like button. We're almost done with the whole thing, of course. So obviously linebackers, Raiders for both of us. What you feel about this position? Come on, cornerback position. This one's an interesting one. This is a very interesting one.
I have to think about who they have over there.
So they have Patrick Surtain. They have Damari Mathis. They have Asang Basi. They have Riley Moss as questionable. Fabian Moreau, Tremaine Smith, Kwan Williams, which is actually in the IR, and then Jaquan McMillan for the cornerback room.
I guess to the Raiders. I give it to the Raiders. Yeah, because I think Surtain and Peters cancel each other out.
Yeah.
And this is just how I'm running it in my head. Like they cancel each other out. Then you go to the next, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't think anybody is messing with Hobbs.
Yeah, facts.
And I mean, Jacorian Bennett is a question mark, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he's a rookie. We don't know what we're going to get out of him. Yeah. But like if I just went to like Hobbs, you know what I'm saying, over the next corner, I think we got the up on that.
Wait, what? Adams canceled out? No, Dark. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying as far as Marcus Peters, Patrick Surtain goes, like they kind of bounce back. I'm high on Bennett and Hobbs back in the slot 2 year. Our room better. For me, I was very high on Fabian Moreau a couple years back. I think a year ago, actually. I liked him a lot. I wanted him for the Rays. He's a speedy corner, and he's their third corner, which is surprising. Which he might most likely play the slot, maybe. I think a big blow to their cornerback room is Kwan Williams. I think that's a huge blow to them. He was one of their best corners and was a really good slot corner in general, I believe, if that's the right person I'm talking about. But I think he was a decent enough corner, but he's not there. He's on the IR. So, and so far I don't. You know what they haven't came out with? The injury report. Have you seen that? Usually they come out with injury reports, and they have not. That, but the
Not yet.
let me see. The Broncos placed him on the IR. His ankle. How long is he not gonna play? I don't think he's gonna play.
You might not get that until like Friday.
Yeah. So me personally, I think just because of that alone, it came out 20 minutes ago. What the? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me get it right now. Hold on. Give me a second. Who dropped it? Oh, it did. Oh, it's right here. Here. Let me share my screen, bro.
Share it. Send it. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys are clicking the like button on both channels. We are simulcasting on Raider Twuan and at the SC Experience. And if you have not subscribed to SC Experience, quit playing with yourself. Go ahead and subscribe. And then also, if you're on SC's show right now and you haven't subscribed to Raider Twuan, definitely quit playing with yourself and subscribe.
Look at what I highlighted. Chandler Jones is out. There's your answer, it looks like. maybe.
No.
Oh wait, is he out? Wait, I'm
Chandler,
done. Hold on.
no.
Oh no, he's not out. The game status unquestionable, but he did not participate both days.
No, Chandler, no.
Malcolm Kuntz season. Sorry, I just had to. Kuntz.
I'm for it.
Shout out to Protect the Shield podcast. What's good, Protect the Shield? Good to see you. Hope all
I'm
is well.
for it, dog.
Shout out everybody. It sucks. I mean, he's not out officially. Let me repeat this. My bad. I thought he was out officially, but he's not out officially. But he just came back to practice and he did not participate both days. So I think he's most likely. We could predict that he's most likely out. Brandon Faison did not participate. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be out. DeAndre Carter had limited participation. He's gonna play. I think DeAndre Carter plays. So, yeah, it sucks, you know, because Chandler Jones. I wish he was well. I wished he was good. You know, I'm still praying for the guy. But at the end of the day, the season goes on and doesn't stop for you. Just like life doesn't stop for you. And you know, the sucky part of sometimes of life and the bad parts of life is that time continues, and we got to continue to go with life. And that's how it is here. You know, as much as I wanted to see Chandler Jones out there to see him truly bounce back, it just looks like he's not in the right headspace, right mentality, like Terrence is saying. He did not participate all week so far, so that just means that he might be a scratch, and that means it's the next man up at the end of the day because life continues, the regular season continues, it doesn't stop. So Malcolm Coons, Tyree Wilson will get a little bit more burn, and that questions on the other side of the ball, who will be up from the practice squad? Maybe Isaiah Rochelle. Maybe they use a defensive line in the outskirts. It's a question that we have to say. Brandon Faison, obviously, I knew he wasn't going to play week one, and DeAndre Carter's going to play. The Broncos side of the ball, they have Greg Dulcich that did not participate but was a full participant on Thursday, so he's playing. Jerry Jeudy, limited participation for Jerry Jeudy. That's very interesting because Jerry Jeudy was out for a little bit of time, so it's kind of like limited participation. That's a question because now Jerry Jeudy might play, right? Chris Mahertz, their third, fourth string tight end, full participant. Riley Moss, their other corner, backup corner, limited participation. So that's as far as them goes, and that's it. That's so far. Jerry Jeudy, who reportedly suffered a hamstring injury 2 weeks ago, was limited in participation. So Jerry Judy's barely getting in the back of things. So we'll see what happens there. Shout out to Eduardo. Coons played great when Jones got hurt against Pittsburgh. He did. A shout out to Charles Washington. Salute to all my Raider family. Salute to you as well, man. If you guys can, hit that like button. In general. But obviously the cornerback room, I think I give it to the Raiders because outside of Patrick Surtain, they're really with Kwan Williams out. It kind of looks like they're suffering in that position. But that's it, right? But obviously, I think Patrick Surtain is the best corner on Sunday in both teams. But we know what Devontae Adams did to him, so I'm not really worried on that sense. I'm not really worried. But Twuan, if you're there, we got the last position we got to run through here, and that's the safety position. On one side, you have Marcus Epps and Trayvon Merrick. On the other side, you have Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons. And I'm going to just blatantly say it. As much as I'm a Raider fan, I give it to the Broncos. They have the better safeties. They have a top 5 safety in the league, top 10 safety in Simmons. They have really good safety on the other side of the ball. In Kareem Jackson. And then of course they're backed up by Caden Stearns, DeLearn Turner, J.L. Skinner. I like J.L. Skinner from Boise. But obviously I think I give it to the Broncos as much as I hate to say it. Our safeties they're both in passing grades last year in allowed yards. They allowed a 100+ QBR rating the whole season for both of them, but they were good against the run, especially Marcus Epps was, and Marcus Epps has that Super Bowl experience under his belt. But for me, Trayvon Merrick is a question mark for me if he could bounce back. I hope so. And Marcus Epps, I gotta see him in this system specifically. So for that sense, I give the edge to the Broncos. What do you feel about it? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Thanks for catching that.
There you go, there you go, there you go.
Despite how I've been feeling about, you know what I'm saying, our safety room, you know, I felt like our safety room defensively, just in our roster, I felt like that was one of our deeper, you know, rooms. You know what I'm saying? I felt comfortable with our safety room, but in its comparison against the Broncos, I got to give it to the Broncos. Not saying that our safeties are not. I'm not saying our safeties are bums, but when it comes to what they have starting versus what we have starting, I would go with their safety room. So yeah,
I agree with you.
And that might be their. And to be honest with you, I think that might be their strongest room just in general, overall, like their entire team. I think their safety room is probably the best room that they got.
It's a fact. And I agree there. I think they got the edge there, but overall it looks like as far as positions in general, we have the edge on a lot of positions. Even on the defensive side of the ball, we got positions, and especially that front seven, we have more of an edge than their front sevens. So finally, before we head on out here, Twan, because I gotta, I gotta kind of skedaddle. But the Raiders versus Broncos predictions. If you have a score in mind, win loss, what do you feel like your prediction is?
Not a blowout. I don't want to give a score prediction, but I feel like we're going to win.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to win. But it won't be a blowout situation. But it won't also be a nail biter. It won't be a nail biter, but it won't be a blowout situation. But we win.
Me, I don't have a score prediction. I'm not gonna do a score prediction, but I will say, knowing all the edges we got, and a very exciting team, I think that the Raiders will win on Sunday. Be 1-0 after Sunday. I believe so, and I'm not giving a prediction as far as of how do I say it? Score goes, but I will say the Raiders will win, and therefore I want to throw in one more fun question before heading out here for you, obviously, and then I'll go after. Give me one MVP on the offensive side of the ball you predict on the Raiders side, and on the offensive side, and one MVP on the defensive side if you were to predict one that you have faith in that will be MVP on Sunday. One on the offense, one on the defense.
I don't want to go with the obvious.
Okay.
I want to say Jacoby Myers.
I like that one. I like that one. I like that one.
The obvious for me, and maybe people don't know what the obvious is, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner against the Broncos. But that's who I feel the obvious is. But I think Jacoby Myers is going to have the time of his life. Coming over from the Patriots, where he was the number one wide receiver, where a lot of of course a lot of attention was coming his way, to now being you know what I'm saying, the Robin to the true Batman, you know, being the sidekick and not really being the sidekick because he's a number one in his own right, but just having that freedom, it is going to be he's going to feel how lovely it is playing next to Devontae Adams. So I call Jacoby Myers. Defensively, I want to say Spillane.
Okay.
And the reason why I say Spillane is because I need for him to shut up that run. Because they're running backs, again, like I said, those running backs ain't slouches. So if we come in there, you know what I'm saying, with our pajamas on, they'll give us a nighttime story and a lullaby. You know what I'm saying? They'll put us to bed. So we don't need to sleep on them. So that's why I'm really asking for Spillane to be that guy. And that's why I'm calling his name right now for you know, MVP.
For me, I'm gonna be the same thing. I'm not gonna go obvious Devontae, Josh Jacobs, right? We could say the obvious Max Crosby, but I'm not gonna go obvious. I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna go Hunter Renfrow. On the other side. I think he'll have a good game.
I agree.
I think he'll have a touchdown, for sure. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go Marcus Peters. I think Marcus Peters plays well. I think he gets a pick. Will I say pick 6? No, but I will say he will get a pick. I think Marcus Peters will get a pick. He'll pick off Russell Wilson, and he'll talk shit to Russell Wilson after the play happens. That's what I will predict. Marcus Peters and Hunter Renfrow. And I'm gonna keep.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one more thing, and if you want to give up this one too, I'm gonna give you a dark horse one. DeAndre Carter, kick return, really good yardage, all-purpose yards. Will do really good in that kick return, punt return thing. That's a little dark horse for you.
I just wanted to jump in and add on to what you were saying, because I as much as I said what I said, I agree with what you got, because you know what I'm saying, it's the same thing, you know, with DA, you know what I'm saying, getting a lot of attention. Renfrow could also eat, you know what I'm saying, in the slot. So that is definitely a possibility. And then on the other side where you said, you know, Peters, that is definitely an option, because who else does Russell Wilson, who can he really trust to throw to? You know what I'm saying? Besides Cortland Sutton. So if he's trying to force it, you know what I'm saying, in certain situations to Sutton, that is definitely a possibility where Peters will be able to pick something off and, you know what I'm saying, talk some trash here and there, because we know that's just that's, you know, he's gonna do, MP's gonna do some MP things, you know what I'm saying? Just simple as that. So and I love, and I've been saying this too about our return game, because we have DeAndre Carter and Tucker, you know what I'm saying, that brings a whole nother element, a better element to our return game that we haven't had in years. So yeah, I'm looking for, you know, I said it before, but I'm gonna say it here. I'm looking for DeAndre Carter to actually, you know what I'm saying, break one for us in this game.
And I do agree there. Carter is banged up. I know that he's limited participant, but if he's out there, I'll give you a dark horse. But if he's not out there, I'll give you another one just to substitute for Marcus Epps. Marcus Epps will do good back there. So that's another dark horse if DeAndre Carter doesn't play. But besides that, like I said, we both have the Raiders winning. We're the underdogs again by +4. So they're saying that we will lose by 4 points to the Broncos. Again, underdogs. I love being the underdogs. I don't know about you guys. I like being the underdogs. We've always been the underdogs. I think the Raiders win on Sunday. Twuan thinks the Raiders are going to win on Sunday. We have the edge on a lot of positions. Very exciting. And on that note, Twuan, let them know where they could find you for all the people on my side, and where they could subscribe to you, and also your next show, man, if you have one.
Yeah. So everybody on the SC Experience, hello. My name is Raider Twuan. Please come over to Raider Twuan and subscribe. I know it's probably somewhere in the chat, so find the link, go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell because I do go live at random. Last night, I decided to do a last minute live, and we went live for like 3 hours. So, you know what I'm saying? Just stay tuned for all the notifications of lives for that. And then also remember, me and SC will be doing our 2-for-1, you know what I'm saying? And we'll be putting that out there and scheduling those too. So those will be scheduled. You will see those posted,
Ahead of
you know,
time. Yeah.
between our channels. But for me specifically, I go live at random. So definitely subscribe, click the notification bell, because I do go live at random. And remember, I say this all the time: press the like button because I like you.
Facts, and I appreciate you for joining me, of course, and everybody on Raider Twuan. Hi, I'm SC Experience, aka your boy Erick, man, and we on the road to 2000 over here, man. And at the end of the day, what's most important to me is the community we have here, man. The nation, the one nation. And at the end of the day, this is the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man. And again, how do I say this? The love has been amazing, man. I've been getting it back for where I was before I left, and I can't explain how grateful I am. And everybody knows that's always been my passion and my future, and what I'm even going to school for. So hopefully one day, I could make it somewhere where I could really pay big back to everybody that was here when I first started. So that's always the goal, and I appreciate you guys. And of course, for me, I have a little bit of a set schedule, starting next week, especially Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't know if I think sometimes we'll do a 2-for-1 Nation podcast once every week, or two potentially sometimes a week. It just depends on the week. But as of next week, Monday, on my channel personally, I'm gonna have the post game show on Monday. Same time as usual, anywhere from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Around that time, I start. Same thing with Wednesday and Thursday, and the Wednesday or Thursday will be a 2-for-1 Nations podcast for sure, for sure. Me and Twua will talk behind the scenes, but I will post all the lives, every single one from my lives, even to the lives I do with other people, on a 24 hours, or at least many hours before it starts. So that's the new thing. Go join the Discord, join the Instagram. That's where you're gonna see updates. I appreciate you guys. On the way out, subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Life is too short, so tell your loved ones you love them. Don't hold grudges, man. At the end of the day, like I said, life is too short, man. And keep living life, man. And blessings to you guys and your families. Hope all is well. And if somebody in your family is not well, of course, Twan does prayer for you guys and stuff like that. And also, I'm praying for you guys every single day, man. And hey, blessings, y'all. So on that note, y'all, this was the SC Experience and Raider Twuan, the 2-for-1 Nation podcast. You feel me? And we will catch you later. Until next time, peace.